Hey, what's up? It's E. Smith here, former IBF junior middleweight champion of the world. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Sporting Icons. Cheers.
So this is the funniest thing. It really, really is. And I'm going to be exposing the Deontay Wilder fan base with facts, okay? They don't like facts. They like narratives. They like to live in their own little world because they want to be Deontay Wilder's baby mama. They want to be his best friend. They want to be his manager. They want to be his agent. They want to be his trainer. They want to be his advisor. They want to be everything, okay? They even want to be his twerking partner. So I'm going to do this video because they've been perpetuating online for quite some time that Wilder is entitled to $80 million from Tyson Fury if Tyson Fury doesn't fight for a third time. Because Wilder would get $80 million for a third fight with Tyson Fury. That's what they believe. So I'm actually going to tell you where they got this particular number from. Because Jamel Herring over on social media and even his source online as well, this article has even put out about how Jamel Herring is getting a lot of hate from the Deontay Wilder fan base because he asked a legitimate question. Well, where are you getting this $80 million from? So I'm going to tell you exactly where they got that $80 million from. Okay, but before we get there, let's just put out some facts here. In order for even the third fight to even generate 80 million, which it wouldn't, they would have to do 1 million pay-per-view buys. At $80 per pay-per-view, which is what it is in America, they would have to do 1 million pay-per-view buys. That would generate 80 million. And what? All of it's going to go to Deontay Wilder? Really? But Tyson Fury is a champion. Tyson Fury is the A-star in this one, and the WBC rules are the champion gets 75% of the purse. The challenger gets 25%. So if 25% means that Wilder's going to get 80 million, how much is Fury going to get? How much? 200 million? Have a laugh. Come on. Think about it. When the first fight, Wilder didn't get 80 million. In the second fight, Wilder didn't get 80 million. Even combined, he didn't get 80 million. He didn't even get half of 80 million. So what makes you think that a third fight would give Wilder, being the B-side, $80 million? You'd have to be a moron to think otherwise. You really would. As I said, these guys are so invested in his fan base that they want to be his baby mama, his twerking partner, and all this kind of thing, that they can't think. They can't see the forest for the trees. So Jamel, let me tell you where they get this $80 million from. And it's the funniest thing. Derek Chisora. That's where they got it from. Article in the description box to back up what it is I'm saying to you. Because several weeks ago, he said that Wilder will probably get about 80 million for fighting Tyson Fury for a third time. Derek Chisora said it. Of all the people in the world, why would you believe Derek Chisora? What makes you think Derek Chisora knows this? Because as I've just said to you, in order for just a third fight alone to generate 80 million, they're going to have to do 1 million pay-per-view buys. When the second fight only generated 325,000. So they're a long, long way off of 1 million pay-per-view buys, are they not? A third fight where that, for the most part, people don't really want to see. People have less interest in the third fight than what they did in the first fight and the second fight. So if the first two fights couldn't generate it, what makes you think a third fight's going to do it? It isn't, is it? Not only did Tyson Fury get robbed in the first fight, not only did he beat the shit out of Wilder in the second fight, now people are not interested because we know who the better man is. But on top of that, Wilder's been coming out with excuse after excuse. Tyson Fury, he had loaded gloves with an egg weight in them. Even though Wilder's own trainer, JD's, was there overseeing the whole hand wraps and all that kind of stuff. But still, that's the narrative that they're going down. Mark Breland, his trainer of 12 years, spiked his water. The referee was potentially drunk. The Nevada State Athletic Commission was in on the screw. And many, many other things, including costumes and whatever else. His stock has plummeted. Plummeted. So what makes you think that Wilder would get 80 million? So how much do you think this third fight would do? You would have to look at it and say that in order for Wilder to get 80 million, the pay-per-views alone would have to reach around 5 million. That ain't happening in a million years. You don't have to know too much about numbers and facts and figures and boxing to understand that that fight isn't doing 5 million pay-per-view buys. Tyson Fury can fight Anthony Joshua next, and then Anthony Joshua again, and then go fight Wilder as undisputed, and it still wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do it. So Jamel, this is where they're getting the number from. $80 million from Derek Chisora. The number just fell out of his mouth. You don't listen to Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora, listen, I like the guy, but this is the same guy who already agreed to fight Dillian Whyte for a second time. Everything was agreed, the finances, all that kind of thing. And after everything was agreed, he then brought in David Haye as his manager and gave David Haye his managerial percentage cut. Why? David Haye did nothing for that second fight, but yet he got a cut of that second fight. And you're going to listen to financials from Derek Chisora? Come on now. How would Derek Chisora even know anyway? He wouldn't know. If Tyson Fury wouldn't get 80 million for a third fight, Wilder, being the B-side in that, wouldn't even get it. Wouldn't even come close to it. Stop coming out with these numbers, you lot. Because I know a lot of them are sitting around thinking that they're his manager, they're his agent, and his trainer, and his financial advisor. And you're not. He doesn't even know you exist. And even if somehow Wilder did manage to get 80 million, you ain't getting a penny of that. So what are you going to be celebrating for? Do you really think that Wilder is going to contact all his fans and go, well, thank you very much for helping me out with this one. Here's some money. No, it ain't going to happen. Isn't going to happen. His fan base are the worst in boxing. I'm telling you, they've been doing it for the longest time. They're in permanent protection mode of Deontay Wilder. When I first started talking about Deontay Wilder 4 years ago, his current fan base was non-existent. I was making videos saying, Wilder, can you please step up? Please, for the love of God, step up. Fight a live opponent. Please. Please do that. Then other people started making videos because I'm going in on what they believed was an American black heavyweight champion. That's what they were going with, saying I'm racist and that and the other, even though I'm supporting Dillian Whyte and Tyson and Anthony Joshua and whatever, but I'm racist, right? It is what it is. But that's where it all came from. It all stemmed from all that. Not just me, of course, other YouTubers as well. And that's where the online boost came from. So his fan base was non-existent only 4 years ago. Non-existent. But here they are now, and within that period, there have been excuses after excuses. Excuses why he waited for Vitaly Klitschko to retire before he fought for the world title, even though he'd been there for the longest time, even though he'd already had, 30 odd fights, 33 fights, I think it was. They made excuses as to why he should be fighting Gerald Washington, why he should be fighting Chris Arreola, why he should be fighting Arthur Spilker and Johan Doapa and Gerald Washington and whatever else. They kept making excuses. They kept making excuses why Wilder should turn down $100 million to fight Anthony Joshua for undisputed. $100 million. Turn down $100 million for 2 fights with Anthony Joshua for undisputed. They made excuses for that. They made excuses as to why Wilder shouldn't fight his number 1 contender in Dillian Whyte. They make excuses for it. These are the people you're dealing with. Jamel, you need to stop interacting with these people. Honestly, you will get more sense talking to a donkey than what you would these fan base. You really would. So anyway, $80 million, that number just fell out the mouth from Derek Chisora several weeks ago. That's where they come out with it. I know that they're claiming like they're some kind of mathematician and they worked out how much the third fight's worth. It ain't worth that. That third fight wouldn't even generate 80 million combined, let alone give Wilder that kind of money. And even if it did generate, of course, not just including the pay-per-view buys, but the sponsorships and whatever else, what, you think it's all going to be awarded to Wilder? And Fury's going to get nothing? The PBC will get nothing? Top Rank will get nothing? Frank Warren Queensberry will get nothing? MTK will get nothing? Really? You're an idiot. Bunch of morons. Wilder ain't getting $80 million. I'm telling you, he ain't getting it. It's impossible. It's impossible for Deontay Wilder to get $80 million. That third fight, people ain't that interested in it. They're really not. Let alone that this third fight's going to have to generate anywhere from 3 million to 5 million pay-per-view buys. It ain't happening. Ain't happening. What absolute morons. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.